definitely want to send some stars. And don't forget to like and share. All right, like and share this teaching. So let's get into it, right? I am a firm believer because I want to be very clear. Okay, I want to be very clear. If you're just not tuning in, I am Dr. William Brown, also the Bishop and the Apostle of Boom Church of Believers of One Messiah. We covering several congregations throughout. All right, all the way from Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Houston, Texas, all the way to Akron, Ohio, and all the way around. All right. Listen, I'm a firm believer, and I've been standing on this since day one as a principle. And as I read in the scriptures, I get my understanding from this perspective and what I'm about to share with you of the approach. I'm a firm believer in not having to, per se, tear something else down to validate my point or to make my perspective believable. All right. Shout out to Pastor Baxter down there, Eastman. All right. All right. Open Door Assembly of the Boom family. All right. I'm a firm believer in that, not only just from a spiritual sense, but from a practical sense. I don't believe in degrading or downgrading something or someone in order to elevate or rise in my perspective or rise in my or making my name great or rise in any of those things. I'm a firm believer that truth establishes and rises all by itself. It's just like the gospel message. The gospel message is not even about tearing down other belief systems in order to elevate and increase to make it more believable. Let me say that. Let me clap for that. Somebody give me some claps on that. The gospel itself is so profound and has so much foundation in it to the point to where it exposes lies even when you don't even have to call it out. Let me tell you, come on now. Let me tell y'all something here. Okay? We're going to deal with this. I ain't been on here in a long time. I'm in rare form. I feel like I'm in Evangelist Majors form right now. You know, before I was Bishop and Apostle, I was Evangelist Majors, okay? All right. The gospel itself doesn't require that. And here's the thing. And you also have to understand this, is that when you're called to go on an assignment, because we're going to get into the prophet, we want to see this Isaiah, we want to get into this understanding of what Isaiah 58 is about. Once you understand that the calling that has been placed upon you has a specific purpose, right? But also the calling in the call itself requires one to have a level of character and a level of integrity, because one who is called is also being called and sent to a place that is either anti-God or anti-against the Most High Yah. And so therefore, the Most High wants to send someone or a people to a people that does not have the same character as ignorance, that does not have the same integrity as sin. And so we have to understand this to get a clear understanding of why the prophets were sent in the first place. Okay, he never called a prophet to sin, or he never called anyone to act like the people that he's sending you to. I don't care if I got to clap for myself, y'all. They say, oh, if I got to clap for myself. As my brother Apostle Sebastian Holly say, this is rich. This is rich. You got to catch this. This is rich. Okay, listen to what I'm telling you. All right, listen to what I'm telling you. In order for you to understand the sending, okay, the sending itself requires integrity and character. Why do you think John the Baptist stayed out in the wilderness? Oh, why? Why? But I ain't even got, Lord, help me, Lord. I ain't even got into Isaiah yet. I'm gonna get into Isaiah, but we're gonna build this thing up right here. Okay. Why do you think John the Baptist, okay, or John who baptized, and for my Baptist family, you know, I got a Baptist background. He was not a Baptist in denomination. He was a baptizer. Okay. So let's get that clear from the beginning here. Okay. Why do you think that John was in the wilderness? Why? Because it was more integrity in a place of loneliness than it was to be around a bunch of people that had a lack of character and a lack of integrity. His father himself was a Levitical priest. So therefore, it would have given him a pass to be in the temple just because of his bloodline. But he chose to hang out in the wilderness. Why? Because the called had more character and integrity in a lonely place than being around a bunch of people. Oh, man, come on now. Why do you think why do you think Jesus didn't go why do you think he didn't hang out in the temple? Why do you think he just went and spoke a word and then left? Why do you think his mission was mostly outside and on the road? Why? Because that is where integrity is. Integrity has to separate itself. Listen, you can't, first of all, people are trying to separate themselves from the world. You can't separate from the world when you detach yourself from a place and still take the same integrity that you detach from. Oh my God, hold on. Help me. Come on, somebody give me a clap if I got to clap for myself. I'm going to clap for myself, y'all. Listen, here's the thing. You can't detach. First of all, he didn't ask you to isolate, okay? So I want y'all to understand something, because John the Baptist, Isaiah, Jeremiah, all of them separated themselves from the people, okay? Because I want y'all to understand that we laying a foundation. We're going to get into Isaiah 58, but I have to lay this foundation for you in order for you to understand where Isaiah is going here, okay? Listen, you cannot. Why do you think he said, come out from among them? You can't come out from among something without changing first. And then once you separate, you don't take the mess with you. See, too many people are trying to go places and carry the same mess with them that they left. That's why when you leave from one congregation, instead of you getting delivered first, you find yourself going to another congregation in the same mess that you was in when you left that place. Why? Because you never got yourself delivered first. You never came into a place of integrity. You never came into a place of character. All you did was transferred that same mess from one place to the next. This is why Paul had to have a road to Damascus experience before he could himself, all right, separate or distance himself from the Pharisees. Not only that, but listen, he told Peter, he said, listen, he said, Satan have chosen to sift all of you, but I specifically prayed for you, Peter. Why? Why did I specifically pray for you? I specifically prayed for you. But here's the thing, Peter. Before you can say you'll die for me and go any place with me, first of all, here's what I need for you to do. I need for you to get delivered and get strengthened and then go to your brother. You can't tell your brother's name. You can't rebuke nobody. You can't go to nobody without you yourself being delivered and you yourself being strengthened so you can overcome these things. Because if not, all you're going to be doing is basically transferring the very thing. Basically, your cup will be clean on the outside, but your inside will be dirty. All right, so let's lay that foundation. I want to lay the foundation to deal with that, because when we go to Isaiah 58, if Isaiah is living like everybody else, then Isaiah can't tell nobody anything. Anything. Daniel, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, all of these brothers who are prophets were called, okay? They all were called. What's going on, Brother Mario? What's going on with you? Hey, Sister China. Hey, blessings to you as well. Sister Renee, what's going on with you? Hey, blessings to you as well. Listen. All of these brothers, Isaiah and all these other prophets, they were sent to a people. The Most High comes to Jeremiah and talks to Jeremiah first. He gets Jeremiah in order first. Listen, y'all, it's nothing worse than a people trying to go talk to a people who haven't even heard from the Most High themselves first. You can't go tell nobody nothing if you ain't heard from the Most High first. And oftentimes the Most High deal with you and your mess first. Why? Because he does not want you to be a stumbling block, one. And two, he doesn't want your credibility to be questioned, because if you got questionable credibility, then nobody will be reached. People will use that as an excuse because of your credibility. You have to have credibility. What comes with credibility? Character and integrity. You have to have character and integrity. Your credibility is based off of that, beloved. Your credibility is based off of how people view you. The Bible says that Yeshua grew in favor with Yah and man. He was integral not only to the Most High, his Father, but also men could not have anything on him or put anything on him and could not question his integrity and character even when they tried. The more they tried, the more validation they gave his credibility and integrity. Why? Because he knew how to talk to people, he knew how to treat people, and he knew how to reach people. The very thing that got him to reaching people was what? His character and his integrity. He knew how to connect with people first before he even spoke to people. Some of us don't even know how to reach people. That's a whole nother conversation. Okay? It's a whole nother conversation. Whole nother conversation. Let's get into Isaiah. Let's get into Isaiah. All right? We're going to get into Isaiah here. All right. We're going to get into Isaiah. So let's get into that because people get in their feelings. I don't want people getting in their feelings. All right. So let's look at this. So we want to lay the foundation because there lies the problem. Not having an understanding of things biblically, which is very important. Okay. It's very important to understand things biblically and historically in order for us. What's going on? Shalom to you, Elder Eric Johnson from Atlanta. It's very important for us to understand things historically. And the things that I'm sharing with you today, many of you know that these are the things that are shared during Boom Academy as well as others. This is a normal Boom class or conversation. It's just done on the public platform. Okay. What's going on, Elder Ray King and out there in Murfreesboro, Tennessee? All right. So let's look at this. Isaiah 58:1. All right. Isaiah 58:1, cry loud, spare not. Now, the thing that we kind of focus on here is what we see in today's modern time. We see a lot of people using this particular passage of scripture. And the very first thing that they use this for is to give excuse to their vocalization of preaching, and the spare not uses it as a reason to either demean or aggressively attack or come at people. Okay. And I think that it's theologically immature to take this position and this perspective on understanding what this means by using this as a means to act a fool. This we have to understand this, y'all. We have to understand this. Listen to me very carefully. Okay? None of us should think that we have the authority or jurisdiction to even compare ourselves to anyone biblically, especially when it's not in the right perspective. Okay. Yes, we all have some form of maybe our ministry, maybe kind of like something, but I believe that the Most High calls us in a different time individually and different things. We do also see in the scriptures where there is a comparison, okay, righteously to John the Baptist being one of the prophets. Okay, I'm not discrediting that, What I'm saying is that when you unrighteously compare yourself to someone in the Bible for the means of advancing the reason to be unrighteous, that's what I'm saying. Okay. So we have to really understand this, that Isaiah is not called by the Most High to go out and belittle, demean people, or even talk down on people in a way that it does not bring them to a place of repentance or conviction. Okay, let's get that clear. All right, he's not calling anyone. Here's the thing. If this was the productive way in the way we view this in saying this is the approach, every prophet that he called came to Israel in a way that could actually get them killed. Simply not even raising your voice, simply not talking down on a person, just by saying that they was a sinner could simply cause you to get stoned. Doesn't matter the level of your vocalization, doesn't matter the level of your aggression. Just simply calling someone a sinner, okay? And they believe wholeheartedly, especially you're talking about someone that's of the priesthood, by simply calling someone that could simply find yourself in a means of trouble, because if you don't have if you don't have the right witnesses or the right amount of witnesses to confirm what you're saying against an individual, you could be stoned for bearing false witness against an individual within the nation, within the culture of that day. But we have today people taking this passage of scripture and using it as a means of demeaning or belittling people or being aggressive, all because they want to use choice words or because the people aren't listening to them. The Bible tells us that Yeshua told his disciples, if the people don't hear you, shake the dust, not be more aggressive. If that's the case, then there's a contradiction between what Yeshua is teaching and what Isaiah is being called to do. And there is no contradictions when it comes to that, okay? We have the misunderstanding and the misinterpretation of what Isaiah 58 is dealing with, okay? So now let's look at this. And most of us take the KJV, all right? Most of us who've been KJV onlyists have taken the KJV and have placed it on such a level and such a high platform as though there's no infallibility when it comes down to maybe some grammatical errors or something like that within the KJV, okay? But here's the thing. It's a translation, and again, if you come out of most Baptist circles, they are KJV onlyists and things like that. And especially in modern day times today, you see most people within the Israelite community are KJV onlyists, believe that KJV is the only thing that you should be reading and teaching from. But when you get into scholarship and you get into looking at these things, you'll find out that there are other manuscripts, and most people don't even know what KJV was translated from. They don't even know who was involved in translating or putting this whole thing together. The first thing they think, King James did this. You just stop at King James. People haven't even heard of the Masoretes before. People have never even heard of the Masoretes before. You ask them, okay, well, what is this? What manuscript is coming? Where does this come from? Well, I don't know. Well, King James. Well, he had X amount of scholars. Well, no, what is it? What did King James them use in order to bring forth his version of the Bible? Okay. And then most people say, I don't know. I haven't. So they don't even know the Masoretes. They haven't heard of the Masoretic text. They haven't even heard of any of the manuscripts or any of these things. They don't even know how this stuff is transliterated, how this stuff came down and things like that. And it's very important that we look at that and get an understanding of where things come from. So let's get back to this verse here. All right. So this verse is scripturally isolated as I have it on the screen with just verse 1. All right. But I want you to understand why. Because he's been told something, all right? Isaiah has been chosen at a time during a particular captivity, which most people, you ask them, they don't even know what captivity Isaiah was in. You got people turning around and say Babylon. All right. What's going on to my brother Azza? What's going on, man? Blessings to you. Most people don't even know what captivity Isaiah was in. Here's lies the problem. We have all of this stuff going on and people don't even know. People are reading a Bible. They don't even have no historical background or understanding about the people they're reading. They don't even know why he was called, who he was called to, what captivity it was. It was not Babylon. It was not Egypt and all this stuff. And we have people out here calling themselves teachers, mores. Listen, y'all, that word more is the most abused word within the Israelite community, and it need to be taken back. Yeah, I said it. I said it. More need to be snatched back. Just like friend. Friend, calling people your friend. Friend is a word that needs to be taken back. More is everybody ain't your friend, and everybody has to earn the right to be called a friend. More needs to be snatched back because we have people out here who are teaching that are unqualified. I said it, and I say it again. I've been in this community long enough to be able to say that. Some of y'all been in the community only 5 days. You don't have the right to say that. Been in this community long enough for a few years to be able to say that. Have built relationships and connected with people all over to be able to say that. And then we have to turn around and come behind a so-called more to clean up bad teaching. It needs to be snatched back. Okay? But look what it says here. Isaiah is being told to do something. He's getting instructions to go to a people. This is this captivity that they're in, okay? And in this captivity that they're in, let me ask y'all something. I'm gonna ask y'all this. Put in the chat what captivity is Isaiah in? What captivity is Isaiah in? Put it in the chat. Don't be afraid. If you got to guess. This is how you learn. All right? This is how you learn. What captivity? Come on, somebody got it. All right, now. I know y'all probably behind me within a what's the name? Isaiah, come on, keep them coming in. I know some of y'all about to run to Google, but that's all right. All right. Isaiah 58:1. Cry loud, spare not. All right, that's a homework assignment for y'all at Boom Academy. All right. Boom Academy, that's a homework assignment. Was Isaiah in Babylon or was he in Assyria? Was it written during Babylon or was it written during Assyria or was it both? All right. So we'll deal with that later on. But let's look at it. It said, cry loud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgression. So stop right there. When we looking at these scriptures, okay, it's very important for us also to know setting. That's why I asked, was it Babylon? Was it Assyria? Was it Assyria? Was it Babylon? Was it both? All right. For us to really understand this, to get an understanding, because in order for you to understand and interpret scripture, then it's important for us to really grasp this. Okay. Cry loud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins. So let's stop there. All right. We're going to stop there and then we're going to jump over here to Isaiah chapter number 56. So we're not going to start in Isaiah just 58. We're going to start in chapter 56 because this is important, all right? Isaiah 56 is important. You can't just start in 58 and not understand, okay? And not understand what chapter and where all of this is coming from. There are chapters that are pre 58. So let's get an understanding of what's going on before we can get into why he's called to go to a people. Okay, so you can read the whole book, but we don't have time to go through the whole book. So let's deal with this verse, chapter number 56. All right, let's look at this. Thus says the Elohim in verse chapter number 56. And these are not long chapters, okay? Keep justice and do righteousness, for soon my salvation will come and my righteousness be revealed. Blessed is the man who does this, and the son of man who holds it fast, who keeps the Shabbat, not profaning it, and keeps his hand from doing evil. Now, he's talking to the prophet about the Shabbat and for profaning it. Okay. In order for the Most High to talk to Isaiah about profaning Shabbat, it has to be a people who have an understanding of the Shabbat. Let's stop right there. Because this is an understanding for us. This is going to get us to a place of understanding what chapter 58 is dealing with. This has nothing to do with people that have no clue about the Bible, let alone the Shabbat, let alone the culture, let alone any of this. He's not sending Isaiah to a people that don't have a clue about Shabbat. He's not sending Isaiah to a people that doesn't have a clue about the culture. He's not sending Isaiah to a people that don't have a clue about anything. They barely even know the Most High. He's not sending them to a people like that. He's sending them to Israel, who has an understanding of the culture. This is why I'm telling you, if you think you can use Isaiah 58 to yell at people, strangers you don't even know, people that don't have a clue about culture, people don't have a clue about even anything dealing with the Most High. And I'm not talking about them going to church as kids and then they left the church when they got older. They don't have a clue. They ain't never been back. They don't know nothing about the Bible. They barely even know who the Most High is. They don't know nothing about no Hebrew. They don't know nothing about no Arabic, no Greek, no none of that. And you out here talking to people like they crazy that don't have a clue, and you try to use Isaiah 58, you are in error. That's not what this is about. This is why when Mashiach went to the people, and when he dealt with people, because remember, he was around Israelites who didn't keep Torah. But those Israelites who didn't keep Torah, they didn't find themselves in the synagogues. They didn't go to Shabbat. But they were at the house where Mashiach was teaching. Now, how is it that the teachers of that day, who was crying loud and sparing not, based on what their interpretation of Isaiah 58 is, based even like today, why those people weren't getting people to come into understanding and wanting to know who the Most High was? It's not that the people don't want truth. It's the people don't want to be like the people who's delivering it. So Mashiach, when he was in the house teaching, he's sitting among sinners. He's sitting amongst Israelites who don't keep the Torah, Israelites who just out here, they just live it. They know they Israel, but they ain't keeping nothing. But they found themselves admiring. They found themselves wanting to be around a Mashiach, a man who was teaching, not just teaching the Torah, but teaching the kingdom of Yah. They gravitated. So the Most High is not sending Isaiah to a people that don't have no clue. He's sending them to people who do got a clue, and they just willfully. Notice now, I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all to hear me very carefully. Notice here, within these 3 chapters of Isaiah 56, 57, and 58 that we're going to deal with, you don't see them having no devil talk. The Most High ain't saying nothing about the devil is in the midst, or Satan is in the midst of the people. He's saying the people are doing this. The people are doing evil. It's not the influence. It's the people who have made a conscious decision to do it. It says here, he says in verse number 2, he says, blessed is the man who does this. Blessed is the man who keepeth justice and doeth righteousness. And the Son of Man who holds it fast, who keeps Shabbat, not profaning it, and keep his hands from doing evil. So he said, you have the ability to not do evil, but you do evil because you willfully do it. You love sin. You love to do evil. It makes you feel good to cuss somebody out. It makes you feel good to say that you're going to hell. It makes you feel good doing all and saying all these things, being able to say some profane words, as we call it in the modern sense, cussing with 2 S's. It makes you feel good to cuss somebody out and be able to justify it with the Bible. You willfully put your hands to the plow to do evil. It's the intent of why you're doing it. This is the issue here. Look what it's verse 56. Let's keep reading. Let not the foreigner, wait a minute, hold on now. Verse number 3, hold on now. Now the Most High talking about his people in verse 1 through 2. Bless the man who amongst the children of Israel who don't do this. But watch in verse number 3. Let not the foreigner who has joined himself to the Lord say, wait a minute, hold on now. Let's stop right here. Now, brothers love to take this whole thing about the foreigner joining themselves to Israel. And joining themselves to Israel is going to mean that you are going to lord over them. No. Listen, you have forgotten the whole purpose of why Israel was called. Israel was called to be a light to the people, to point them to righteousness, because we're not righteous. The Most High is the righteous one who called us to be able to be an example and a demonstration to the people. So ain't nobody joining themselves to us for nothing. What the Most High is saying is that I'm in you. And when they join themselves to you, they joining themselves to me. That's what the Most High is saying. Okay? Look at what he says here. He says, let the foreigner. No, and this is not talking about no Israel who's been scattered in the diaspora, who don't know they Israel, but they really Israel by blood, but they don't know it. No. That's not what it's saying. How do we know that? Let's see here. I'm going to show you right here. Let's look at this. We're going to go to Isaiah 56:1. So we right here in blue letter, right? Let's go to Isaiah 56:3. Now, in the KJV, it uses the word stranger, okay? In the ESV, it uses foreigner. Now, when you do your study on it, you're gonna know that there are different types of foreigners. You have the ger, one who lives amongst Israel, okay, where it talks about them being circumcised. They live amongst you. The stranger that lives among you and reside amongst you, they have to be circumcised. In order to keep the Passover, in order to partake in it, they have to be circumcised. They got to do all these things that Israel has to do in order. And in the New Testament, you'll find the term or the word a proselyte, okay, one who is fully converted in. Now, and also you have within the Old Testament, you might find another form of stranger or a foreigner, okay, one who does not have the full rights as one who has fully converted in, okay? Now, let's look at Isaiah 56:3, and let's see which one is that. Is that the one who is the ger, or is that the one who's passing through, okay? All right, like Naaman, all right? So let's go here. Look what it says here. All right, Isaiah 56:3, the stranger, it's Nakar, it's not ger, okay? So this is a totally different type of stranger, all right? This particular stranger here is identified as a foreigner, but he's an alien. He's not a resident, all right? He's an alien. He's one who is passing through. He may stay there for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, may stay with you, but he's going on about his business, okay? Foreigner. All right. And how do we know that this ain't no Israelite that's being called a Gentile? but because he lost his identity. No, this is a full-blown foreigner, a full-blown non-blood Israelite. Okay, look what it says here. It says foreignness, foreign gods, alien foreigner. All right, now let's go down here to get a little more depth. Look what it says here. All right, Nakar, all right, which is from the root word. All right, you got 852:34. Look what it says here. Concretely a foreigner or abstractly heathendom, alien, stranger. All right, so let's look at this. All right, so this is not dealing with somebody that you could just say, oh, well, they're Israelite. They don't know they're Israelite. No. Let's go back to the Isaiah 58. Now, Isaiah 56:3. Look what it says. Let not the foreigner. Now, listen to what the Most High say about the foreigner. Don't let the foreigner who has joined himself to the Lord say, the Lord will surely separate me from his people. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to get to Isaiah 58, y'all. Y'all want me to jump to Isaiah 58 or am I talking good? Do I need to just stay here for a little bit? Do I need to go through this? Do I need to walk this? Do I need to walk or run? Just let me know. Do I need to walk or run? Just put it in the chat. Walk or run, or put run or walk, whichever one you want to put. All right, just put it in the chat. Do I need to walk this or do I need to just keep running? All right, look what it says here. Let not the foreigner who has joined himself to the Elohim say, the Elohim will surely separate me from his people. So the Most High tells the foreigner, don't you let it come out of your mouth. Don't you let it even get into your mind or into your being that I'm going to separate you from Israel. Lord have mercy. Oh, I was trying to do Isaiah 50. I didn't come here to do this, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't come here to do this, y'all. I really didn't. I didn't come here to do this. I'm trying to get some background and foundation on Isaiah 58. But as they say, as we all say, we've been saying growing up, as they used to say in the church, let the Lord have his way. Look at what it says here. He tells the foreigner, don't you ever even let it come out of your mouth that I'm going to separate you from Israel. Once you are part of Israel, you are part of Israel. So if anybody else do some separating, they in error. They in error. They in error. They in error. Let me tell y'all something, y'all. Listen, I don't care how smooth or how educated or how big or how many people they think it is. Listen, the word of Yah is official and it is firm and it's concrete. You ain't gonna run around this. He say, don't let no foreigner who is not an Israelite by blood, and if any of y'all out here mistreating these folks, the Most High gonna deal with you in error. You're in error. Folk can get mad at me all they want. You can get mad all you want. Likes, unsubscribe. You can do whatever you want. Block me. It don't matter. The Most High, his word going forward. He says, let not the foreigner who has joined himself to the Elohim say, the Elohim will surely separate me from his people. And let not the eunuch say, behold, I am dry, a dry tree. For thus saith the Elohim to the eunuchs. Look what he got to say to the eunuchs. Watch what he say to the eunuchs. The eunuchs who keep my Shabbat. Wait a minute. So obviously, in verse 1 through 2, it seemed like Israel ain't keeping it. They unrighteously violating it. The foreigner who had joined themselves to the Most High seemed like they keeping it and being obedient. The eunuch is sitting around here. He keeping the Shabbat, or the eunuch is keeping the Shabbat. And the Most High says here, to the eunuch who keep my Shabbats, who choose. See that there it is again. Let me tell you something. Y'all not gonna listen. For all y'all, especially my Christian brothers and sisters who listening, y'all need to stop putting the devil on everybody. Y'all need to let these folks. Y'all need to let it be what it is. Keep hold folk accountable. Stop giving people a devil pass. Okay, stop giving people a devil pass. No, you willfully decide to do what you want to do, just like you willfully decide to keep this. These eunuchs willfully decide to keep the Shabbat. Look what it says. It says here. It says the eunuchs in verse 4 who chose the things that please me. Who chose to do the things who please me. Who chose to live righteous and hold fast my covenant. Look what he says to the foreigner and to the eunuch. I will give you my house. Oh, I'm done. I'm done. See, I can walk away. I can listen. I can walk away. I'm almost about to get to the point of walking away. We might not even make it to Isaiah 58. All right. We might not even make it to Isaiah 58. I'm about ready to run around this room, y'all. I almost took off. I almost took off, y'all. He gonna tell the foreigner and the eunuch. He said, in verse 5, I will give you my house. Who say they ain't gonna be in the kingdom? First of all, who said that they gonna be up there serving y'all? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Folks reading the book with no comprehension. Just because they open up the book don't mean that they got an understanding of the book. I just told you, you cannot, if you're approaching this thing and you don't have the character and integrity, you ain't been born again, and you don't understand, you don't have that ruach going, and your most high ain't with you, you're going to read what you want to read. You're going to cherry pick all over this thing. And everybody seemed to, especially today in today's time, everybody running to Isaiah. But everybody's skipping past chapter 56. He talking to the eunuch and to the doggone foreigner. He in verse 1 and 2, he talking about Israel. Israel, y'all ain't keeping my Shabbat, man. Y'all willfully going against my Shabbat. Y'all willfully going against my Shabbat. That's right, Sister Danielle. Y'all willfully going against my Shabbat. But these foreigners and these eunuchs, I will give you my house and within my walls and a monument and a name. Oh, I'm done. I can't do this, y'all. I'm about done, man. I'm telling you, if we was in service right now, I promise you, man, the book would have been closed, man. Y'all would have got a 15-minute message. Book would have been closed. And we ain't even got to Isaiah 58. We ain't even got to Isaiah 58 yet. Look, come on now. Listen, y'all. He said, I'm going to give the foreigner and a eunuch. He said, I'm going to give them a house and walls and a monument and a name. Oh, Lord. Oh, don't do this. Don't do this. I ain't seeing this, y'all. I'm closing my eyes. Y'all. I'm about to close my eyes, man. I'm about to close my eyes, y'all. I can't read this next line. I can't read this next line, y'all. I can't read this next line because they gonna think they gonna think I added this. People gonna think I added this. Listen to what it says. He said, I'm gonna give them a house, I'm gonna give them walls, and I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna give them a monument with a name that's better than the sons and daughters. Wait a minute, come on. Oh man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Listen, I don't know where y'all at. I don't know where y'all congregating at, but I'm going to tell you right now, man, listen. I don't listen, man. I don't know what. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all right now, folks call me what they want to go. They go Christian, Israelite, Christian, whatever you want to say. Or, I'm a COINTELPRO, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call me. The book is what it is, okay? It book it what it is. Listen, hey, Elder, I'm like, hey, listen, I done got stoned over the last 15 years. I done got stoned by the Christians. I done got stoned by the Israelites. It just don't, the stoning don't even bother me. I've grown accustomed to how it feels. It don't even hurt no more. All right. It don't even hurt no more. All right. But look, I'm going to read this again in your hearing. All right. Because somebody in the back ain't hearing it. All right. Somebody in the back ain't listening. Okay. Look at what it says here. All right. I will give you, you eunuchs and you foreigners, I will give in my house and within my walls a monument. He said, I'm going to put a monument up in the kingdom for these folks. Do y'all, now this makes perfect sense. This makes perfect sense when Mashiach says that all will come from all around and sit down with Abraham at the table. And when he sit down with Abraham at the table, the foreigners will have a seat at the table and the children of Israel gonna be thrown in the outer darkness. Isaiah ain't saying nothing no different than Mashiach told them folk face to face. The only difference is that the Most High telling Isaiah this about Israel. But Yeshua, he told Israel them in their face what was going to happen with this. That's why they like, no, he got to die. He got to die. Ain't nowhere in the world that the Most High chose us. The Most High we're the chosen people. Ain't nowhere in the world he talking about he going to put a monument in the kingdom for them. As wicked as who they are, it makes more sense. The reason why Paul said that a people who keep the law, then the law wasn't even given to them. What you actually think that the Most High gonna toss somebody out because they living righteous and his own children not? What kind of foolishness is that? Oh, you just gonna get a pass? No, come on, beloved. Look at what this book say. All right, let's keep reading here because we gotta get to it. All right, we gotta get to it. All right, we gotta get to Isaiah 58. All right. All right. A monument and a name better than the sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name. Come on, man. Come on now. I'm going to give them a monument and a name better than the sons and daughters. So wait a minute. So you telling me that the name that's on, oh Lord, I'm done, y'all. I'm done. I'm done. I'm kicked out officially. Okay, this is my last pass. I'm kicked out. I'm done. I am done. Okay, you telling me that the names on the gates, the 12 tribes of Israel names on them gates, you telling me that these folks gonna have a monument in behind the gates when the Israelites' name is on the outside of the gates? And a monument is going to be in the walls? Come on now. Listen, y'all. I'm going to read this verse 5 again. I will give in my house and within my walls a monument and a name better than the sons and daughters. Let me, come on, man. Oh, Lord have mercy. Hey, man. I see why John the Baptist was out there in the wilderness by himself. I see why Mashiach chose 12 and they were out of the street doing street evangelism and walking around. They weren't inside the temple hanging out with them folk. Them folk would have killed. They wouldn't have never survived in the temple, y'all. Because during that day, they was teaching crazy, foolish error too. Listen what it says here. I would give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Verse number 6, and the foreigner who joined themselves to the Lord to minister to him, to love the name of the Elohim, and to be his servant. Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. So the folks talking about they gonna get servants. So how you gonna have servants and the Most High? Like, wait a minute, hold on. How you got servants and the Most High got servants? Like in his kingdom, this don't make no sense, y'all. All of us are servants of the Most High. We have to not stop misinterpreting these verses. And we have to stop applying verses where they don't belong. When the Most High is talking about somebody coming through you, it's not to come through you and to stick with you and to cater to you. The Most High is talking about him. He chose you to be a light to the world. So therefore, the only light that is shining is him through you, not your light. We don't have no light. Our body is filthy rags. The only light that shines is not us, it's him. So if he's the only light that shines, how in the world are people joining themselves to us? That don't make no sense. What we've misinterpreted that and misunderstood that he's talking about him through us. That's what he's talking about. Okay? Now let's look at it. Let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Verse 6, and the foreigner who joined themselves to the Elohim to minister to him, to love the name of the Elohim and be his servants. Everyone who keeps the Shabbat and does not profane it and hold fast my covenant. Why? Because during that day and during that time, Israel was not keeping the Shabbat holy. They were profaning the Shabbat. They were profaning all the other instructions, in Torah. So he has to raise up someone that, like Isaiah, who is keeping it, who is doing the righteous things, but also the Most High want the prophet to know that there's some foreigners that are. There's some eunuchs that are. The people that you assume and think should be keeping and honoring it, they ain't doing it. They have put on a facade. Their outer appearance looks clean, but they're dirty to the core. Verse 7, these I will bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. He's talking about these foreigners and these eunuchs. I'm going to bring them to my mountain and I'm going to make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifice will be accepted on my altar. Wait a minute, hold on. The foreigner and the eunuch, burnt offerings and sacrifices will be accepted on my altar? For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. Not just some people. And this all people ain't talking about the 12 tribes of Israel only. We already read the context of what Isaiah 56 is talking about. This is not talking about Israel only. This is talking about a house of prayer for all people. As a matter of fact, in verse 1 and 2, we already see that Israel is profaning the Shabbat, they ain't keeping the Torah, and yet the foreigners, the strangers, or if you want to use a modern term, the Gentile, and the eunuch, they keeping the Shabbat. They chose to live righteous. They chose not to violate. And he said, they're going to be in my house. I'm going to give them a monument in my house. I'm going to give them a name that's greater than the sons and daughters. And I'm also, this house that I have is going to be a house of prayer for all people, not just a few of y'all. Come on now. We got to read this book. Look what it says in verse 8. The Elohim, or the Lord God, who gathers the outcasts of Israel, declares. So listen, he still ain't forgot about Israel though. See, I know y'all thought that this was just going to be a bang on Israel session. He has not forgotten about Israel. Why? Because there are some who are going to be scattered. They're going to get it. They're going to finally understand that they can't blame other people for the reason why they've been while they're in captivity. See, the other people who finally get it, they'll be a part of that house of prayer for all people. Those who don't get it and who still want to keep blaming other people for their issues, they ain't going to come into the house of prayer. They're not going to be amongst the righteous. Why? Because they still haven't gotten that you have to choose to live righteous. You have to choose to keep yourself out of captivity. You have to choose to do these things, not blame other people for the reason why you in sin. Verse number 9. Look at this. Israel irresponsible leaders. See that? Told you. Tried to tell you. And even today we got irresponsible leaders. Look what it says. All you beasts of the field, come devour. All you beasts in the forest, his watchmen are blind. Oh. If y'all gonna be mad with me, be mad at the Lord, okay? The Lord is saying this about Israel. He's saying this about Israel leaders. They are blind. Okay? He's calling the beasts. All you beasts of the field come devour. All you beasts of the forest. His watchmen are blind. They are all without knowledge. They are all silent dogs. They cannot bark, dreaming, lying down, loving to be slumber. The dogs have a mighty appetite. They never have enough. But they are shepherds who have no understanding. Shepherds who have no understanding. See, understanding, y'all, is going to guide you and point you always back to the Most High and the Mashiach. I always say, I always have to question if I never hear people talk about the Mashiach. A red flag always arises. But they are shepherds, verse 11, who have no understanding. They have all turned to their own way. See, when you turn to your own way, everything gonna be about you. Everything gonna be about what you doing. Everything gonna be about what everybody ain't doing. Everything gonna be about you and you this and you that. And that people got to come to you, and people got to get this from you, and people got to. That is when you find out that people have turned away, because it's no longer about him. Everything about you saving yourself, not giving facts to the Most High. Everything is about you. Each of his own gain. Listen to what it says. They have all turned to their own way, each to his own gain, one and all. Come, they say, let me get wine. Let us fill ourselves with strong drink. And tomorrow will be like this day, great beyond measure. They all say, come on, let's go get this. Let's go do that. Let's go do this, go that. And I'm telling you, if you do this, if you do this, if we go here, or we go buy this, or we go build this, or we go do that, I'm telling you, it's going to be a great day for us when we do this. It's always about doing something to accomplish oneself, to create a means for your own salvation. And the Most High, through the prophet Isaiah, is telling them, warn the people of this. Isaiah chapter number 57, Verse number 1, the righteous man perishes and no one lays it to heart. Devout men are taken away while no one understands. For the righteous man is taken away from calamity. He enters into peace. They rest in their beds who walk in their uprightness. But you draw near. You draw near, son of the sorceries, offspring of the adulterers. He's talking to Israel, and the loose woman. Whom are you mocking? See that? Look, see, when you go, when you go read that other chapter in Isaiah, when you go to read that line upon line, precept upon precept, see, you're going to find out in that chapter they was mocking too. We did a whole lesson on that. See, you'll find out that they was mocking the Most High. Brothers talking about, well, you ain't precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little there. See, if you go read that, you'll find out that he wasn't promoting this the way you teach. Isaiah was talking about, and the Most High was talking about those prophets mocking the Most High. That's what it was talking about. And it's the same thing today. And it's the same thing in this chapter. The Most High said, who are you mocking? You mocking me all throughout the book of Isaiah. Who are you mocking? Against whom do you open your mouth wide and stick out your tongue? Are you not children of transgression, the offspring of deceit? You who burn with lust among the oaks, under every green tree, who slaughter your children in the valleys, under the cliffs of the rocks, among the smooth stones of the valley, in your portion, they are your lot, to whom you have poured out a drink offering. You have brought a grain offering. Shall I relent from these things? On a high and lofty mountain, you have set your bed, and there you went up to offer sacrifice behind the door and the doorposts. You have set up your memorial. For deserting me, you have uncovered your bed. He's talking to Israel. He talking to Israel. He ain't talking to no people that don't know about the culture. He ain't talking to them people. He's talking to people who willfully doing this. They already know the culture. They living in the culture. Look what it says. He says, for deserting me, you have covered your bed. You have gone up to it. You have made it wide. And you have made a covenant for yourself with me. And you have loved their bed. You have looked on nakedness. You journeyed to the king with oil and multiplied your perfumes. You set your envoys far off and sent down even to Sheol. You were wearied with the length of your way, but you did not say, it is hopeless. You found new life for your strength, and so you were faint. Verse 11, whom did you dread and fear, so that you lied and did not remember me? Did not lay it to heart? Have I not held my peace, even for a long time? And you do not fear me? The Most High say, I've been quiet. I've been watching you. I've been giving you time, Israel, to correct yourself, to get yourself in right standing, to get yourself in right line. But guess what you say? You don't fear nothing. You don't fear him. Verse 12, I will declare your righteousness and your deeds, but they will not profit for you, or they will not profit you. Your own self-righteousness ain't going to profit for you. He says in verse 13, when you cry out, let your collection of idols deliver you. Ooh, Israel. Let me ask you this. What idols do you got up in your house? And I'm not talking about just your physical house. Who do you idolize? What idols do you have on social media? Huh? Huh? Do you idolize the culture? Huh? Do you idolize the fact that you keep Shabbat and somebody is not? Do you idolize that you keep a feast day and they don't? Huh? Do you idolize that you've been awakened to knowing that you're an Israelite and somebody else hasn't? Huh? Talk to me. Your idols won't deliver you. Only Mashiach will. He said, when you cry out, when you out there talking to people, disrespecting them, being demeaning and all that other stuff, when hell hit your house, verse 13, when hell hit your house and you gonna cry out. See, again, crying out doesn't necessarily mean, all right, disrespectful and demeaning. Because in this situation, in verse number 13, crying out has nothing to do with talking aggressive. Crying out is having to do with humbling yourself because you need help. You need help. You have emotionally given up. He says, when you cry out, let your collection of idols deliver you. Because you don't want to read the Bible, because you don't want to fast and pray, let your collection of books that tell you you're an Israelite, let them deliver you. Because I can guarantee you ain't nothing in any of them books that's going to tell you how to overcome marital problems. Nothing in any of those books going to tell you how to believe when your child is on the deathbed. None of them books going to tell you how to overcome sin when you're dealing with lust and fornication. Huh? Come on. Nothing in them books going to help you with that. Yeah, you know who you are, but none of the books going to help you get to the place to where you know who he is when hell hit your house, when you crying out and you need help, when you've been diagnosed with cancer. They ain't going to help you. Look what it says. Verse 13, the wind will carry them all off. He said that storm, sometimes it takes a storm for your idols to be carried off. Sometimes it takes a storm that the Most High, see, every storm ain't the enemy. Some storms is your deliverance. Some storm is to get the idols from around you so you can actually know who he is. Man, come on here. Look what it says here. He says the wind will carry them off, all off. A breath will take them away. But he who takes refuge in me. See, after the Most High have swept your idols away from you, then you'll be able to get in a place where he wants you to be the whole time. Surrendered. Understanding where your hope come from. Understand who's your source. And don't ever mistake a resource as being the source. Resources are good, but they ain't the source. He says, but he or she who takes refuge in me shall possess the land and shall inherit my holy mountain. Notice in chapter 56, the foreigners and the eunuch, they already got it. They already know how to get salvation. They already knew how to get to it. Israel turned their back for idols. So who gonna come to you when you yourself need to be delivered and strengthened? Then he says, go strengthen your brothers after you've been strengthened, after you've been delivered, after you've overcome. Then go strengthen your brothers. Then you can go teach somebody something. Then you can go help somebody. Why? Because you can't teach nothing if you don't know who the source is. You trying to use resources to lure people in, when resources itself is just a middleman for the source. Come on now. It's not the other way around. Let's read verse 14. And it shall be said, build up, prepare the way, remove every obstruction from my people's way. For thus says the one who is high and lifted up, who inhabits eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, and also with him who is a contrite and lowly spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly, and to revive the heart of the contrite. For I will not contend forever, nor will I always be angry. For the spirit or the ruach who would grow faint before me, and the breath of life that I made, because of the iniquity of his unjust gain, I was angry. I struck him. I hid my face and was angry. I hid my face and was angry. But he went and backsliding in the way of his own heart. I have seen his ways, but I will heal him. I will lead him and restore comfort to him and his mourners, creating the fruit of the lips. Peace, peace to the far and to the near, says the Elohim, and I will heal him. But the wicked are like the tossing sea, for it cannot be quiet, and its waters tossed up, mire and dirt. There is no peace, says Maya, for the wicked. There's no peace. Now let's jump over to Isaiah 58. All right. Look what it says here. Now we can look through different translations, different manuscripts, and this thing gonna read the same. Again, when you read the KJV, you read the Masoretic and how it was translated, it's gonna use the word spare not. But you using spare not to say don't spare nobody's feelings. That is not what it's talking about. He's telling Isaiah, don't hold back. Don't be afraid, is what he's saying. He's not saying don't spare not nobody's feelings. He's telling Isaiah to cry aloud. Again, crying aloud doesn't necessarily mean yelling and talking loud. Just like in Isaiah 57, cry loud because you need help don't necessarily mean that you cry loud with a loud voice. If that was the case, then Israel, every prophet that went to Israel had a loud voice. They was telling them aggressively. If it was about just being aggressive and not about deliverance, tone doesn't change anybody. Okay? So look what he says here. He says, cry aloud. Do not hold back. Don't be afraid of these folks. Don't be afraid of the wicked. Don't be afraid. Why? Because during that time, it was more Israelites wicked than it was. So Isaiah got to go to them and tell them. But the fear, just like Jeremiah, the fear of going to tell your own people that they sinners. You could get stoned. It's one of you telling all these folks that they need to return, they need to turn. Instead of pointing, see, during that day, everybody pointing at Babylon and Assyria as the problem. Now all of a sudden, here you come, the prophet of the Most High, coming to tell Israel, Babylon and Assyria not the problem. Y'all the problem because y'all sinners. Can you imagine that? Some of us today don't even want to tell one person they wrong. You talking about telling a whole nation? And it's just you? Come on, man. Let's know the background of this book and these chapters. All right? Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Again, can't nobody's voice be louder than the trumpet, okay? But what he's saying is he's using the trumpet as an analogy of how a trumpet gets attention, okay? When you hear a trumpet go off or you hear a horn go off, you'll just stop what you're doing to turn around and see what's going on. So if somebody roll up on you while you in the midst of talking and doing all this stuff and you say, hey, man, y'all need to repent. John the Baptist's mouth wasn't just this loud, boisterous voice, dogging and talking crazy to people. You know what got people attention? Because he told them to repent. That's what got their attention. What grab people is the ruach, is the spirit that grabs people. It brings people into wanting to change, not how loud you are or how crazy you can be. It's not that, okay? And we have to understand that. But let's keep reading here. Look what it says here so we can get out of here. Look what he says. He says, declare to my people their transgression. See there? Now, if you out here on the corner or you on Facebook and you talking loud and acting crazy to people, cussing them out, dogging them out, acting a fool, you can't use Isaiah 58:1 for that. Because most of brothers are talking to people, they don't even know nothing. They don't know nothing about no culture, Israelite culture, and they don't know none of this stuff. Isaiah has been sent to people who know that they're willfully transgressing. He's not being sent to people who don't know. We've taken this and we just want to use this just to be on, just to yell at people and tell people. And then when people say, well, why you talking to them like that? Why you telling them this? Because Isaiah 50, you got to cry loud and spare not. You can't spare their feelings. That don't have nothing to do with this. And it's unfortunate that that's what we're doing. And that's what we've taken it. It has nothing to do with that. Yeshua tell his disciples to go. If they don't want to hear, if they don't want to receive, shake the dust. He didn't tell them not to spare their feelings and cry loud and talk crazy and tell them they're going to hell and they're going to be this and they're going to be slaves and all. That's not what he told them to do. He didn't tell his disciples that, nor did Isaiah. No, Isaiah was told that. Come on, man. That's right, Elder Eric. Look what it says. Declare to my people their transgression, not people who don't know nothing. Declare to my people their transgression, not talking to the doggone foreigner, Gentile, or whatever you want to call them, walking down the street. No, that's not what he's talking about. He says, declare to my people their transgression, to the house of Jacob their sins. Yet they seek me daily. Look what he says. They studying all day long. They studying all day long. They teaching all day long. They doing all this stuff all day long. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways. They delight to know my prophecies. They delight to know these things. They delight to know that they Israel. They delight to know that they wanted to, studying to be in rulership and all this other. They delight to declare that the nation is going to be destroyed and come to an end. They delight all this stuff. They delight to know my ways, the miracle signs, the wonder, and my judgment, as if they were a nation that did righteousness. Oh, my goodness. Look at what it says here. Look at what the Most High tells Isaiah. They do all of this stuff and they declare all this stuff as though they righteous, though. As though I'm in heaven saying, look at them, they righteous. I love this. The Most High frowning and saying, look at this. These jokers here, I'm going to judge them first. I'm going to judge them first. They ain't righteous. Just because you seeking in the word and for certain things to be able to teach, the Most High, like, I'm not looking, I don't even know them. Just because a crowd follow them, that don't mean I know them. Heaven don't know them. Y'all do. As the Most High told Jeremiah to tell the people, them y'all prophets. The Most High say, them y'all prophets. They ain't mine. That's why the Most High sent Jeremiah to them prophets. Why? Because they weren't his. That's why the Most High sent Isaiah to Israel. Why? Because them folk don't belong to him. They turned their back on him. So guess what he had to say? He had to say, all right, you foreigners and you eunuchs, y'all gonna be y'all my people, but I do also have a remnant of Israel that's gonna receive salvation because they're gonna get it. A remnant of them are gonna get it. The vast majority of them ain't gonna get it, but a remnant of them gonna get it. Look what it says. He says here, verse number 2. As if though they were a nation that did righteousness and did not forsake the judgments of their Elohim. They ask of me righteous judgments. Listen what he said. Listen what I want y'all to listen to this verse. The Most High telling Isaiah, they asking and talking to me to judge the nations. As though they righteous, though. They ask of me righteous judgments. They delight to draw near to Yah. Why have we fasted? And you see it not. Listen what he said. He said they asking a question. They fasting for me to judge the nations. Why have we fasted and the Most High ain't did it yet? Why the Most High ain't judged them yet? We tired of this captivity. We tired of these nations mistreating us. We tired of this. We tired of why are we fast? He ain't heard us yet. Why have we humbled ourselves and you take no knowledge of it? This is what they said to the Most High. And they weeping. Behold, in the day of your fast, you seek your own pleasure. I'm done. All right, y'all. That's it. I'm done. All right, y'all. Hey, listen, man. Listen, I'm out of here. I'm not reading no more. I'm done. I'm not reading no more. Y'all can go read the rest of the chapter and they get mad at y'all.